where does Israel get those two other things more than other places? The book is called Startup Nation, the story of Israel's economic miracle. And I like to latch on to a couple words in that title. One is the word startup, of course, and the other is the word story. By startup, we mean that Israel has more startups than any place outside of Silicon Valley. In absolute terms, it's the biggest collection of high-tech startups. If you look at how many are produced every year, about 500 coming out of a country of 7 million people. Europe as a whole, we think produces about 700, 800 startups. And probably what's more significant than simply the numbers of startups is of course the investment they've been able to attract. It's all built around finding the next big thing, the next new disruptive technology or startup or new industry or something like that. Israel by far puts more of its GDP into research and development than any a developed country, about 4.5%, which is almost 2 times the OECD average. Why did this happen in Israel? What's going on there? Why so many startups there and not somewhere else? And we quickly realized that it was a matter of culture. And to explain a culture, describe a culture, the best thing is to tell stories, I think. So we tell lots of stories in the book. There are plenty of great ideas in Israel, but there are plenty of great ideas everywhere else too, a lot of other places. If you look at Israel is way up there in the number of patents per capita. We're actually #1 in medical device patents per capita, but in other areas we're not #1, and there are a bunch of countries that are very strong in patents per capita, patent density as it's called. But if you look at these other countries, they don't have nearly as many startups as Israel does. So there must be something, patents are a good metric for ideas, there must be something else besides ideas that produce innovations and startups. And we argue that what Israel shows is that there are 2 other big ingredients that Israel seems to have more of. And one is a lot of drive and determination. And the second big ingredient is a willingness to take risks. And if you don't have those 2 extra ingredients, you can have all the ideas you want, but you're not going to get startups. So then most of the book really ends up being, where does Israel get those 2 other things more than other places? And that's where we get into all the factors, all the cultural, historical factors that we talk about. One of them, of course, is that Israel itself is a startup. It's very important. It took a lot of drive and determination and willingness to take risks for there to be a country called Israel. Not just 100 years ago or 60 years ago, but continuously. We've been dealing with all kinds of adversity, and our kind of way to overcome that has been to be innovative. They also had to be willing to take risks to make this idea a reality. Israel itself is a startup. Now, another big thing is that Israel is a country of immigrants. And so it's a country with an immigrant mentality. And immigrants were driven to move from one country to another. They took a big risk when they moved from one country to another. So they have both of those big ingredients.